Okay, last learning target for the chapter is uses of Pythagorean theorem, also better known as the distance formula. And all the distance formula is it's a more detailed version of Pythagorean theorem when I have 2 points. It's right there. So it's the idea if I know 2 points, I know the x coordinates, x2 and x1. I'm going to subtract them and square them. If I'll know the y coordinates, so I'm going to do y2 minus y1, subtract those. I'm going to square both those values, add them up, and square root. So if you can follow order of operations, this ends up being pretty easy. Off to the right, and this is how it really is in the end Pythagorean theorem. Subtracting the x's lets me find essentially the a. Subtracting the y's lets me find the b, and we know a squared plus b squared has to equal c squared. Just the difference with distance formula is we're identifying a distance typically on the coordinate plane. An actual example of using that distance formula. So if I don't know the distance between 2 points, so down on the bottom left is 2, 3, up on the top right is 9, 7. I'm going to label those points. 2 is x1, 3 is y1, 9 is x2, 7 is y2. After I label those, it's a matter of throwing them in and following the order of operations correctly. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or Aunt Sue or whoever your aunt is. Subtracting the x's, 9 minus 2 is going to give me 7 squared. Subtracting the y's, 7 minus 3 is going to give me 4 squared. 7 squared, 7 times 7, 49. 4 times 4, 16. 49 and 16, the last part of order operations. I did the parentheses first, and then I applied the exponents. Now I'm doing the addition. 49 plus 16 gives me 65. And I want to square root that 65. And then depending on how it says to round, if you round that to the nearest hundredth, it's 8.06. If you round that to the nearest tenth, it's 8.1. And then lastly, by the way, like you could have just used Pythagorean theorem to get this, be able to set up the distance formula. But in the end, this is the horizontal distance of 7. That's what the 9 minus 2 accomplished. This is the vertical distance, though the y change. That's what 7 minus 3 found us that 4. I could do 7 squared plus 4 squared, which is 65, and square root of 65 would give me c using Pythagorean theorem. So please be able to set up distance formula and understand that if you can sketch a triangle, you might be able to think of it exactly the same as Pythagorean theorem. Hope that helps. Please give the next time for the quiz over Pythagorean theorem and distance formula.